Welcome to the Pillow Fright Podcast. I'm Alyssa.
I'm Kay.
And I'm Ama.
And we are your three besties here to turn you over to the dark side.
Well, there's a ton going on in horror right now. We've had a lot of news come out this week.
Yeah, my first thing I'd love to talk about is Evil Dead.
Who doesn't love talking about Evil Dead?
I mean, come on.
So the news as of, I believe, 3 days ago was we're not getting one, we're getting 2 new Evil Dead movies. Yeah. And the coolest thing is Sam Raimi himself is hand-picking directors, like new up-and-coming, like exciting directors to do their take on, you know, what's happening in the Deadite world. The first film that was announced was
Sebastian and Ivan, they're one and the same. The first film that was announced will be directed by Sebastian, I apologize if I say this wrong, Vanacek, who directed Infested.
Yeah, that's on Shudder. Shudder sponsor us. The second film that just got announced is an origin story that will be written and directed by Francis Scalepi. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Who's got a film coming out as of the time of recording, I think like May 10th, called Last Stop in Yuma County. Ooh. That's supposed to be something from the start. That's really exciting to me, and I love the fact that Sam Raimi is so involved.
That makes me so happy. I mean, I don't know, for anybody who knows me, one of my favorite franchises is the Evil Dead franchise. Bruce Campbell is... We might have to cut right now.
I think we all feel that way.
I love Bruce Campbell. I love me some Bruce Campbell. That's very hard to get through that sentence without just stopping. And I loved the 2013. I actually really enjoyed the recent one. That was 2022.
The star of that movie is your doppelganger.
And her name's Alyssa too. So Alyssa Sutherland. That's all that needs. Telepathic connection right there.
Well, I really love that he's picking filmmakers, considering how so many have said, you know, in interviews and just in general, that Evil Dead, the original, was an inspiration to filmmakers. It revolutionized indie filmmaking. Some of his filming techniques were like absolutely astounding, and they have been copied in the most complimentary ways. And everything, he's inspired so many. So the fact that he's like, I'm going to pick filmmakers to carry on this legacy that I've created, I think that's really special. And I think it really honors the franchise in that way and the fans.
Yeah, I love that.
And also, you know, like that was the beginning of his career. And so he's picking other people that are relatively at the beginning of their career. And I find that incredibly inspiring. Like the photo of him with the marquee of Book of the Dead at his premiere is like on my bulletin board that I look at every day to like inspire me to like keep hustling and keep trying to make movies.
And that's so encouraging to have a director like Sam Raimi who, I mean, went from Evil Dead to freaking Spider-Man, and he's literally run the gambit of the industry, and he's still going back to going back to these directors, giving people a chance. And I love that. And is it supposed to be now, because I know the new one that came out last year was kind of like an offset of the Deadite origin, kind of like a side story in a way. Is that what the next ones are supposed to be, or did they announce it?
They have given us very little info so far, other than the fact that Francis's movie will be an origin.
Ooh. See, normally origin stories, I don't like, they bother me because they explain too much, but I want to know more about the Deadites.
So what do you guys got for news that you were excited about this week?
Well, I don't have news, but I do have something that just came out that I am watching and that I'm obsessed with because I'm only on episode 4, but I just started watching The Scare.
Them.
Cool. The Scare on Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm. And it started out strong with a really jarring image, and it really got me hooked. The cinematography in episode 1, I think where I was like, okay, let's go, was it takes place in 90s, and it's in LA. And there is a part where they're interviewing a suspect, in a police station, and the shot set up through that like two-way mirror, and they have like the way that they lined up things on the side. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Cop things tend to be very like gray, and this was warm. It is scary in a very real and visceral way, but also, and I'm on episode 4 right now. I didn't get to finish episode 4. So I'm there. Is it supernatural? Is this show only real? Is it super? Like, I don't know, but it's keeping me really, really intrigued. And one thing that I won't say like spoilers of it, but one of the lead characters wants to be an actor, and he's like prepping for an audition, and they do this 80s montage, which is like perfectly done in an 80s montage style, but it's horror. And it's like, so it's like, oh, this is fun. Oh, and I was like, that's actually like, oh, okay, let's go. It's so cute and such a good use of montage that I was like, oh my God, I want to see more.
Montage.
I love me a good montage.
Yeah. Who doesn't love the 80s and their frequent use of montages in every movie?
Insert montage of just our close-ups of us. Ooh, reaction shots. Speaking of news, my favorite thing coming up just so happens to be a little film premiering on May 7th called, I believe it's called SLASHERCISE. Cue the montage.
Well, before we get into the movie we're talking about, I wanted to talk about another first. I want to talk about, what is your first memory of something that made you want to become a horror actor or actor makeup artist, whichever applies to you first. Do you remember?
I need to think on that for a second.
I remember that I was a big kid that like, I was actually like a normal sized child. I don't know when I grew.
You weren't a large lad.
I wasn't a 6 foot tall 2-year-old.
Really?
That happened in high school. I remember watching like a lot of musicals as a kid because I did not get to pick what I was allowed to watch. I was told what to watch. So it ended up being like Cats and My Fair Lady.
You know what?
And so many musicals.
That's my jam.
Like, not saying they're bad, but like, would that have been my first choice? Probably not. But wasn't afforded that luxury. So my mother would hand make all the Disney princess costumes for my birthdays and like have themed parties off of whatever Disney movie was out at the time. I would go around like in this little costume and like sing the songs. Or I would be dancing to Cats in front of my TV like, angelical cats doing cat-like things.
You have video footage of that, right?
Probably. We're not.
Oh, we need it. We need it.
And can I preface it is not the god-awful CGI Cats abomination, because that is a horror movie.
Well, then you would be
she would
like
never
3 years old and I would have some questions.
I mean, that part of it, that was very theater based. And, you know, that's, as much as I love theater and specifically Shakespeare, it's not really what I do right now. But makeup was because I volunteered when I was in like 14, because that was the youngest you were allowed to be to do it, is I wanted to work at my local haunted house. And first year in the haunted house, they put me in a corner because I'm brand new, just put me in like red and black makeup in a corner with all black clothes on. And I was supposed to like scare people at the top of a staircase.
So
which,
you're
like,
just Darth Maul.
Yeah, essentially, actually, when I see it, I am Darth Maul, just like, boom, boom. I just kept getting beat up. I got kicked in the shins multiple times. The final straw was I got punched in the face so hard that apparently my nose was bleeding, but I didn't know. I'd never been punched in the face that hard before. We didn't know it was real blood until they took the makeup off my face and saw that there was like real blood.
People don't think characters are real. And if you are one of these people, we are real humans.
Yeah. Those were grown ass adults punching a 14-year-old girl in the face.
Yep. I got kicked.
Yeah.
I got kicked.
So they started having to put me into things for my own safety, like away from the public. So like one time they put me in a table with like that mirror trick underneath so you couldn't see my legs, and I was just supposed to be like a table corpse. The next year they put me in a table where someone's supposed to reach in and pull my heart out, and the people made a fiberglass chest
That's cool.
It was so well done for a local haunted house. But he made a fiberglass chest of like a woman.
Oh.
And I was like a child. And I was a teenager. So I remember that these little kids, they came through and he goes to pull the chest and I'm wearing like, I think it was like, it's supposed to be like a fake hospital gown or something. I don't remember. And I'm supposed to be like screaming. So obviously when I'm moving, like these fake fiberglass boobs are there.
Fiberglass titties.
Fiber titties. I mean, they were gelatin. I just remember the fiberglass because it cut the shit out of me.
Oh no.
But he pulls in, he does, and I'm, and these kids are like, oh my God, boobs! Went back.
Boobs.
They bought tickets a second time and came back around just so they could take pictures of the boobs that were not real boobs. But I was like, I made those kids knights, middle schoolers, definitely. Just fake dying titties over here.
It's when good show control comes in handy there.
Them going to that extreme about making the chest. And then I also ended up spending a lot of time in the makeup chair because I'm not like just supposed to be one of the scare people. I was, always in something. I was more of like a showpiece, I guess. So I spent more time with the makeup artists and getting to talk to them and getting to learn from them. And I was just like, I love this. I love this. And I'd also grown up reading the Kevin Aquan books, which isn't horror, but he's revolutionary in makeup. And he did a lot of transformations, like his Making Faces book. So,
which is incredible.
Oh, he was an amazing, amazing artist. And so that really pushed of like, okay, well, I love makeup, but I'm not passionate about the pretty stuff, but I am very passionate about the horror. So I'm always learning and always up for learning more about horror and making it super, super, I want to scare people in the same way. Not so that they punch me, but like maybe a little bit.
I want them to punch me.
You want to punch them in the feelings.
Yeah. I want to punch them back with fear.
What about you, Alyssa?
So I don't think I had one exact, film or anything that got me into it, but it's really funny. I was invested in your musical theater story because I grew up in the musical theater. I got my start as an actor in musical theater. I was in Oliver. That was my first show. Please, I want some more. I wasn't Oliver. Anyway, I'll skip that. So yeah, musical theater nerd. Still am. I don't know if a lot of people know this about me, but I love musical theater as much as I love horror.
And you were in Evil Dead the musical.
I was in Evil Dead the musical. Oh, I didn't forget, but yeah, it kind of goes full circle because, and I'm not just saying this because we were talking about Evil Dead, but Evil Dead was one of the films that I loved so much that I thought, I was afraid of it, but I was so fascinated by the effects and what they were able to get away with. And it just made me want to be a part of that world. And I think that's why it's so close to my heart too, because I did Evil Dead the musical in 2019, I think it was. I played Annie, and it was one of the best stage experiences I've ever had because it's like my two passions rolled into one. So that was cool. I think in terms of wanting to really do horror, because I'm an actor, so obviously I want to do a lot. I do comedy. Comedy is my thing, but I would be happy if I got to do just little indie horrors, be at conventions, meet some people, because I was like girl number 5 in this one movie. I think that would be awesome. And a lot of really indie horror inspires me actually to want to do it because it's obtainable. It's something that, and it's good. So I don't know if that answers your question, but.
No, it does. So I have a very distinct memory of like my director origin story. I've told you guys a lot about how I was a monster kid growing up. I think it was like Wednesday nights at Snowman's Grocery, which is a local mom and pop. Like they made pizzas and shit, but they also had a huge room of VHSs. So, like that was a video store. And they did like $1 night on Wednesdays. And, I would get like $20 from my mom and go rent like 5 or 6 movies at once and get my pizza and go the fuck home. And sorry, I guys hate when I swear.
I don't hate it.
I'm sorry. Anyway, so I was like going through the VHSs. Like I think I'd seen everything by the time, Blockbuster rolled into my town. So one of those movies that I watched was Slumber Party Massacre. And, I put it on and when I saw, directed by, I can't remember what her, Amy Holden Jones, but I think at the time it was just Amy Jones. And when I saw a woman's name pop up on the screen as a director, I was like, wait, I could do this?
Aww.
Like a girl, like, I don't know why, like maybe because it was, the early 90s or whatever, but my young brain didn't realize that I could do things that men could do until that moment.
Because there weren't too many women's names that showed
Never.
up. You
That
think of
was
Steven Spielberg, you think of in the 90s.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw a woman's name as director, and that was like a light bulb to me. And then I remember being like a sophomore in high school and having to do one of those like, speeches on what I want to be when I grow up. And I was like, I want to be, and I showed I said I wanted to be Wes Craven, John Carpenter, Clive Barker, and I wanted to go to film school and all of this stuff. It's like one of those things like I knew from such a young age just from seeing her name on the screen.
I love her.
And, so that takes us into our movie today, which
Because you did it.
because I did it.
You did it.
So we are talking all things Slashercise, which is a movie / workout video that I wrote and directed, and my two besties are in and Alyssa choreographed.
It's so exciting.
Yeah, it was such a fun experience. Like, I had so much fun just filming the teaser, just four of us, core four.
The core four.
Core four.
With Vanessa. So like the core four was just like Ama, me, Vanessa, Sophia, and getting to like, just make these fun random 80s stuff. And I was like, oh my God, like one all female set was really cool. To work on that.
Yeah.
And because that's kind of rare. It was just like, it was literally passion project in that everything was like, this would be cool. Let's do this. Oh my God. And I want a slit throat effect. And I was like, let's fucking go.
We'll go back to the origins of it, but basically we had gotten a little bit of money to do a teaser because we had to have it out by January 1st for, that's when fitness stuff is the most important for the new year.
New year, new you.
So we had like a very, very tiny amount of money to do a teaser, and we'd rented a studio and we did one day and Alyssa choreographed it. And then we're like, I don't know if we got enough. And so we're like, what are you doing tomorrow? And it was me and Kay, Sophia Cacciola, was our DP, and Vanessa Decker, who's the star of it. And we literally just sat in Sophia's studio for like an entire day, just coming up with 80 shots to do. And, it was like creativity at its finest because we were all just messing around. Like there was no plan. It was just what would be fun and aesthetically pleasing.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
And how much blood can I throw on this?
Right. But so Slashercise started with, there's a place in LA called the Mystic Museum, and they have another sort of side business called Slashback Video. And they invited artists to do movie covers, like VHS covers for an art show / like opening night. And I was one of the artists, like, because I'm a photographer as well, that was invited. And I always really loved 80s workout covers. And at the time, I'd never even seen Linnea's horror workout, but I always loved the cover. So that was what I did. I did it with Sarah French was the model. And, we shot it in an afternoon, and it got some attention, and Vanessa and I were talking about it, I think, at that opening night. And we're like, we should really do this. Like, we should actually make this workout tape. And that was like 2018. And, we took it and we started pitching, and we heard a lot of no's, like, maybe if you can find this much money or blah, 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 blah. I even like turned down opportunities to like shoot covers for Linnea's new, when somebody else bought the rights to it, like they wanted to do a new cover and they wanted to hire me as a photographer. And I was like, it feels like a conflict of interest, and I love Linnea and I love this, but I'm so, and at the time I didn't even think I'd ever get a chance to make it, but just at the chance, just maybe the possibility it would come real, I didn't do it. And, now what, like 5-6 years later, we finally got a little bit of money to do it. And, you know, I think, I was getting married.
A lot was going on.
Yeah. Like it was
a
like
busy month.
Yeah. It was like the beginning of December this year. And Vanessa calls me and she's like, hey, we got money, but we got to go now. And so I got married, and 3 days later we were in pre-production, and I was calling these ladies and was like, help me, let's do this. And that's how this came about.
It's a good story. We wore this. And we wore this.
You directed it. You made the outfits, and so many, which are like super cute.
Oh, thank you. I think I made like,
I love them.
I made like, I don't know, 20, 30 outfits for the movie. And like,
gosh.
But you know, it was very DIY. We had to, you know, our film crew was 2.5 people for the most part. Like, it was Ryan Valdez shot it. Elwood Walker did sound and gaffed basically. And, you know, Vanessa and I produced everything. You did all the choreography for it. John Stanley made all the props for it. He made us like weights on body parts.
I love those.
Shane Morton, who created Cheddar Goblin
from Mandy.
Yeah, he flew out and did all of the gore makeup for us, and that was crazy because, you know, I sent him the first draft of the script. He's like, is this really the gore you want? Let's go a little bigger. And I was like, well, how, you know, we don't have a lot of money. And he's just like, how about this, write in your dream deaths and we'll take it from there. So I did, and he's like, yep, I can do this. And he shows up with his suitcase, and he's a magician, and just made all of like heads explode and cut open somebody and stuffed a VHS inside them. And, you know, it was such a fun, scrappy little project, right? I don't know if you guys had fun or not.
It was so much fun.
I mean, no, I'm just kidding. No, it was probably one of the most fun things I've personally worked on with you, I think.
I mean, we've like, your vision has always been something that I've been like astounded by. And I think that how you see like a big picture like this. So like, your blacklight short was gorgeous in that sense.
Thank you.
And then you did another short that was like Clueless meets murder.
What was that called? Anne Margaret.
Don't fuck with Anne
That's
Margaret.
right. Don't.
So then you getting to do something that's 80s, which is like your jam, your vibe. Your wedding was Christmas kitsch 60s, 80s. Like, you're big on the, you know,
the retro.
Yeah. And so you getting to do that with the project that you've been so passionate about, and that we all got to be there and experience it and have so much fun and sweat so much. Oh my God. I was so sore by the end. I mean, even just filming the teaser, I was like, I'm out of shape.
It was intense. It was really intense.
You guys had to like exercise for like 12 hours straight.
Yeah. I have so much respect for people who do workout videos now, because, oh my God, I did not realize whenever I'm yelling at you on the screen for hurting me that you are hurting so much more.
It's true.
Alyssa, so tell us about what went into the choreography to make this movie.
First of all, I'm still never not going to thank you and Vanessa for, you know, trusting me with the choreography because I did the Peep Show. I helped with the lower body.
Aerobics?
The aerobics for the lower body. I didn't do the arms.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. I don't know why I said that like a question, but yeah, I come from a background, as I mentioned, musical theater, but I also do burlesque, a lot of burlesque. And I never thought of myself as a choreographer. Like, that title never even crossed my mind until it was it 2022? I think for Midsummer, it was 2022, mm-hmm. right? And you needed a choreographer. You were short a choreographer because you do the Midsummer Scream. You have a fashion show every
mm-hmm.
year. And there's a little dance team, does a couple dance numbers in there. And time was of the essence because I think there was like a month to go or something. And you didn't have a choreographer. You didn't have any of that. And I distinctly remember house sitting one time. And I was like, listen, if you need somebody, because the theme was, 50s style surf, I thought, you know what, I could probably help do something. It's not going to be anything crazy, but I'll come up with something. And you said yes, and I wasn't expecting you to do that. So I was like, oh shit. Okay, well, guess I got to come up with something. And then for the first time ever, I got COVID the day I had to choreograph and get that together because it was like 3 weeks beforehand. I'm trying so hard not to be too long-winded because I have some health stuff. I have some autoimmune issues that make it very hard to move sometimes or to exist. And so that was a very difficult time, but I was very proud of myself because I was like, I will not let Emma down on my deathbed. And then it was received okay, I think. It went over really well. And that's when I sat back. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't do terrible things. Let's see what I could do with this. That was just a little backstory of how I kind of found out I could be sort of a choreographer. So with Slashercise, when I first found out you were doing this, like, I was like, oh, like, I had full body convulsions because I always say my dream job would be doing glow, but like, if it were horror, because that's my aesthetic, is just that woman, exercise, dance, aerobics, 80s horror. That's just my jam. So I was very excited. And I remember saying, like, if you need help with anything, if you need guidance, like, I will be there. I will just even stand in the background and just do this the whole time. I want to be involved. So when you actually trusted me enough to try to choreograph, I like cried. It was like, I was just, well, also because I didn't want to let you down because I knew what a big deal this was. So I tried to take a little inspiration from, I tried to combine both 80s, Jane Fonda workouts, all of those, like the tapes that you would get that are now on YouTube, which are awesome to look back on, and combine that with kind of burlesque stuff that wasn't too, sexy, but it was just enough to be like, oh, hey,
Oh, there's a little bit of sexiness. There's a little bit of sexiness in this video.
I would say there's a lot of sexiness. Okay. So I tried to combine the two, but I wanted to still keep it cheeky and, light because that's kind of the vibe. So yeah, I just kind of combined the two techniques, and one of my biggest inspirations for choreography, and I'm not kidding, for the aerobics part was Friday the 13th part 4. I don't know if you know the scene in the beginning when the paramedics take him, and it's Axel, and he's watching that video of the girls just touching their butts for like an hour together with the white, and they're like doing the bird's eye view. I took some inspiration from that, I'm not gonna lie, because Axel is the Super Bowl of self-abuse. I love that movie a lot. I was very proud of that.
Obviously, we're not going to do any spoilers for this movie, but something that if you follow Slashercise on social media, or if you follow any of us on social media, you have definitely seen photos of the villain,
Meathead.
There's one shot where he's like behind me, and I saw the mask backstage behind the scenes, and I was just like, all right, that's kind of gross. Okay. But then he wears it, and he was just like behind me, and he was just breathing. And I like kind of turned, and I was just like, what in the freak? Like, what in the unholy hell? It's effective.
And sorry, his name, that's Lee
Valek.
Lee
Valek.
I love him. He's
and
great.
He's a wrestler, so he comes from sort of like, he wasn't just like a guy putting on a mask. He's a dude who like does stunt work and was very into the character. And the way the Meathead came about was so funny. Vanessa and I were sitting at the coffee shop where we did a lot of our planning, and she's like, what's like the worst thing when you're at the gym? And I'm like, creepy dudes. She's like, meatheads. And she's like, what if he just like had a giant head that was meat? And I was like,
that sounds like a conversation you'd have when you're really high.
Yeah. And I was just like, what if he was wearing the shortest shorts possible? And she's like, yes. And so we had Ryan from Little Shop of Gore make us that mask, and he did it in like a fucking day. Like, he was so fast, and it was so good. Like, every time like I see it, I laugh uncontrollably. Like, it's so ridiculous.
He really made it.
The costume, the shorts are brilliant.
Short.
The
Yes.
shorts are short.
The shorts are short.
When he walked in to shoot the teaser, I was like, is he gonna wear these? Like, is he gonna tell me to screw off? Because they are like, they're so short, they have an internal underwear to keep a dude's junk inside.
I mean, he brought a lot of life to that character,
Yes.
and the mask is fantastic.
The mask is wonderful. They do such a good job. Like Ryan and Selena and Little Shop of Gore, like they're great.
Yeah. And the turnaround on that is fantastic as well. When the passion part of this, it literally seems like you brought so many people joy. Everyone's working out and like smile on your face because it's that 80s workout video, but it's because we're having fun. And everyone getting to try on their outfits. And there's so many behind the scenes photos I have of people just being like, I look amazing. I love this. And you brought so many people happiness, and that's gonna translate to the film. It's gonna show through how much fun we were all having.
So.
I'm so excited.
Felissa Rose loved her outfits so much. She's like, "Can I just wear this home?" I'm like, "Yup."
I'm so excited to see that part because we haven't seen the.
Well, we haven't seen it.
Yeah,
but can you talk about who else besides Felissa? What faces do you want people to know that? You're gonna see?
I mean, if you've seen the poster online, it gives it away a little bit. But we have Spencer Charnas from Ice Nine Kills, Joe Bob Briggs of Joe Bob Briggs.
Him.
The Last Drive-In.
Yeah.
Diana Prince, who's Darcy the male girl on The Last Drive-In, who actually she's a producer on this. Like, she brought so much to this. I will be forever thankful to have her involved. And then we've got Tiffany Shepis, Kelly Maroney, and Lisa Wilcox from
my favorite
Nightmare on Elm Street. She's one of mine too. And like,
I love Alice.
When I was talking to her on the phone about the project, and she's like, "Oh, I know everybody likes Nancy better," and I'm like, "No."
Well, I mean, I love Nancy.
I mean, yes,
she's wonderful.
but like, I saw Dream Child was my first Nightmare on Elm Street movie, so she's it for me.
They were my sick day movies.
Oh yeah, Sarah French is in it. She was my original Slasher-Size girl. So when I called her, I was just like, "Do you want to be?" She's like, "Hell yeah, dude!" Like, yes.
That's awesome. And of course, Vanessa.
And yeah, Vanessa was my partner in crime on this from the very beginning. So, her and I produced this from the ground up. We have put so many hours into this. Like, we've cried, we've screamed at each other. I feel like we're like sisters in like, a trench in the middle of a war. We've gone through it all.
That's how you know you made something good. Yeah. True passion project.
You fought for it.
Travis Bacon does the music for it. And everything he did is so like synthy and 80s and cool. That was like exactly what I expected, or in my mind, like I wanted it to be.
Just talking about this makes me so happy. I didn't think that exercise horror was a subgenre, but it actually is, because the only one that comes to mind that when I think of right off the bat is obviously Death Spa. Yeah. What else is there?
There's a bunch. Like, it's actually something that I've been into for like a long time. Death Spa's a big one. There's one called Killer Workout. Have you guys seen that? It
sounds cute.
I want to.
You should. It's very silly. Maybe we'll do like an exercise month at some point.
I think we should.
There's Body Melt, which is actually my personal favorite. It's like this Australian, it's about a weight loss pill that fucks people up and makes them explode and stuff. It's really, it's super gory and super campy, and it's really fun. There's actually Murder-Size that came out a couple of years ago.
I love these titles.
Oh yeah.
When Vanessa and I saw that, we're like, no, because we've been trying to shop Slasher-Size since 2018. The titles were so close, and we didn't know at first if they were going to be a movie or if it was going to be, a workout like we were trying to do. And luckily, it was a movie, and not at all the same from us.
That's good.
And,
I want to see it.
There's obviously the queen, Linnea Quigley, who has her horror workout. And let me tell you guys, I did everything to try to get her in Slasher-Size. I feel like I was at the point where I was like stalking the woman.
I remember.
I've shot with her before, and I know her a little bit. And, I was just like, I'll do this, I'll do that. And she's like, I would, but right now, she had just had a surgery and was just kind of down and out for a couple of months. But I was just like, I will drive to your house. I will pick you up.
She's a superhero.
I know. She's like one of the coolest people in horror, in my opinion. And, maybe she'll come back in a sequel or something. That'd be amazing. But this was so much done in love for her. What an icon she is.
I love Linnea.
I remember, I've only seen clips of her horror workout, but I do remember in the 80s horror documentary where she was talking about like everything she had to go through to film this, and how, the happy accidents of like, it wasn't supposed to be like this, but it worked out and we had a fun time and we made something awesome. But then there's also, American Horror Story
Yeah.
80s, where even though the workout portion was only in the beginning, before they get to the camp, but you know, they're really just focused on the class. And then the, you know, if you just talk about like little parts where maybe it's not horror workout, but like killing someone in a gym locker room, or I just always think of like, why did I just think of Scary Movie with
Yeah.
where she's just like, oh, I'm dying.
I was thinking, yep.
Kill me. Oh no.
Oh, I'm bleeding.
Like,
That's
I love
really good.
and I love Shannon Elizabeth. So her doing that was absolutely hilarious. I mean, I think she is horror comedy.
That was
is,
her
like,
best
peak.
movie. I think I loved her in that.
Debatable, but we'll talk more on that later. But also, like, 80s workouts were such a part of life. So having
Yes.
horror videos, and also, you know, like, there's people who spend what seems to be their entire lives at the gym now. And not me, because I only do home workouts, which is another reason why I was like, SLASHERCISE is perfect for the person like me who gets all of their workouts from like YouTube, ClassPass, like all that stuff that, like, that's the stuff that I always use.
I use Denise Austin Buns of Steel.
Oh, yeah.
I still have those.
Tony Little was my favorite.
Tony-
Like,
Carmen Electra's workout, you know,
Oh,
because one
she
of those
had
was a workout. One of those was a workout.
Strip.
Fit
She
to
had
strip.
Fit to strip.
Yeah.
Billy Blanks.
oh, I did Tybo so much.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, to me, working out isn't about being in perfect shape. To me, it's very much about my mental health and moving and just doing something every day that's for myself and not for, you know, the rest of the world, or like, it's not about being the skinniest person. It's like, I put on one of my books for tape, and, you know, it's an hour that's for me, and no one, like, my phone's off, no one's talking to me. It's just my brain and myself. And
Right.
I really treasure that time. So that's a big part of why I've always wanted to do a
Aw.
workout.
Yeah, working out is not just about working out. I love that because, I mean, physically it boosts the endorphins. And when you combine something that somebody can, like, if they love the horror genre, if somebody like myself would not actively just put on, you know, an exercise tape, but they see this and they're like, I want to watch like a movie. I want to watch a movie while I'm working out, and you have fun with it. That's why I love dancing, because I don't think about working out when I dance. And I think it's the same with this, because the exercises in this, they're themed, they're horror related. So it makes it extra exciting because you're not thinking about working out. You're just having fun with it. I love
Yeah,
that.
it's like, you know, we use chainsaws and we use knives, and like, you know, we just
Fake
wanted
knives.
this to be like,
Fake knives.
Everything is plastic, but it's just to make the workouts more fun to do at home and to bring in like your personal, if you love horror, you know, it's like, it makes it more fun.
And you go at your own pace, which is what I love.
Yeah.
You do what you want to do. You don't have to. That's why I love working out at home.
One of my favorites was have you ever done the hip hop workout?
I've done
Yes.
many of them. Yes.
It's so good. It's so cheesy, but like, there are times, like, cause I used to, when I was like really in shape, I'd get up at like 6 a.m. There are times I was like, I just don't want to go all the way to the gym before work. And so I would put on my fucking hip hop, you know, thing. It's like the cheesiest moves ever,
Was
but it was
it-
like so fun.
It was a Beachbody
Was
workout.
it country hip hop?
Oh no, I wish.
This is hip hop.
I love that one. Or Prancercise. Have you ever seen Prancercise? Here for it. Oh my God.
But no, this is definitely a workout that you can do at multiple levels. There are modifiers. I mean, I was one of the modifiers.
Same.
So yeah, you can.
samesies.
So, you know, when you're watching the DVD, you can look to me or Alyssa and do the modified, or you can do, you know, go all out. But there's something for everyone. And then, I don't know if we've said it, this is a real workout and a movie.
Well, and I don't know if you need a disclaimer here, but you know, work at your own discretion. Consult your doctor. It's all in the DVD.
Yes.
Because if you don't say that, you know, somebody's going to blame you for talking about it on the podcast.
course.
Consult your physician. Make sure you're in good health.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just something that was like really, like, it was like one of those passion projects that was always like, I want to do this. It'd be so fun. You know, I'm glad we did, and I'm glad that it's going to exist in the world. And I'm very interested if people are going to be like, this is bullshit, or if they're actually going to think it's fun.
No, it's fun.
The people, there's always going to be somebody who thinks something's bullshit. Somebody's going to
Yes.
say that we're bullshit doing this. But you know what? This isn't for them.
No,
That's
I'm like,
okay.
I'm avoiding Letterbox right now. I'm like, oh God, you know, because we started shipping DVDs last week, and like if you buy a DVD, not that this is a commercial, but Vanessa and I ship them ourselves. Like, in the landscape of the world right now, especially in indie filmmaking. My advice for every other filmmaker out there that's starting out or is making stuff on their own dime, keep the rights to your physical media yourself, because there's not a lot of trustworthy companies who are actually gonna give you your money if you go with them. So yeah, we're doing all of our own physical, very DIY. Like, we made our own DVDs. We've been packing. We've been shipping. We've been watching John Tucker Must Die while we're packing DVDs.
Just, why not?
Which was not a horror movie, and I was so mad. I thought it was when I watched it all the way through, and I was like, when is he gonna kill people?
I love John Tucker Must Die.
It's still a fun movie, but I was misled. So if you are local to LA, where can you see this?
Oh, well, at the time of recording this podcast, we're having a premiere at the historical Aero Theater, May 7th. And tickets are still available. Please come.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're here in LA, come hang out with us. We'll be there. All three of us.
Wear your 80s best.
Yeah. Get dressed up. Have fun with it, because, you're going to have as much fun watching it as we had making it. And I don't want to see a scene, a clip of it until I get to see it on the big screen, because I'm so excited.
What are you guys wearing?
Whatever you have in your closet, because I don't know, but I want to get fancy. That's all.
I went 80s. I got a vintage 80s dress. I'm very excited.
Well, no, I was trying to do bridesmaid impression, but it didn't translate, especially not on the podcast, so I stopped. So,
oh my god,
it was gonna be.
Does it have puffy sleeves?
Unfortunately, no.
That's okay.
No, there are no sleeves, but
it will still look great.
I think I'm gonna make my own dress, because I was looking at 80s stuff. Like, I was like, I really want something that's like Jessica McClintock, but like horror.
Oh my god!
And it didn't exist, so I'm like, I guess I'm just gonna make something this week.
Do it.
Well, that's kind of the if it doesn't exist, make it yourself.
You know what? That is actually very profound.
Yeah. Honestly, that
really
is my entire career is like just based off that sentence. Like, everything I've ever done is because it doesn't exist in the world.
That's going to be on our shirts, on our merch.
It doesn't exist.
Make it. Write that on your motivational wall.
TM. It's
TM.
Copyrighted those words.
TM.
No one else gets to motivate.
No one else said that ever in their little lives.
No, definitely not.
Will you make me something with poofy sleeves? I'll pay you $1 million.
We'll talk about
doll
that
hairs.
later.
You can pay her $1 million.
That's
literal. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I should ask this now, but I'm very, very, very eager. Will you be doing a volume 2?
Well, it is called Volume 1 for a reason, and I will leave it at that for now.
It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, well, hopefully we will see you on May 7th at the Aero Theater. Tickets are still available. And if not, you can go to the SLASHERCISE website and you can order a copy of the DVD, as well as there's some fun merch on there, including your own SLASHERCISE weapons.
We'll include a link for everything that you can purchase in the description.
And just, I would love to personally know what you guys think. Like, reach out, hit us up, tell us if you're enjoying it. If you hate it, you're dead to me and I'm going to block you immediately. So
just kidding.
I want to see your before and after.
Emma's not in charge of moderating.
Yeah, they don't let me answer comments because I'm too sassy.
Yeah.
If you get sassy comments, it's Emma. It's not us.
She hacked the system.
Yeah, anytime like I respond to somebody on our social media and they're like, Emma, remember, you're not allowed to answer comments. It's like, they need to know my opinion.
Not allowed to talk to people.
I know more than
You're
you.
not allowed to socialize.
Yeah. We lock her in the basement when we're done filming. Yeah. She's not allowed out.
We feed her with a plate.
Yeah. You're only allowed out to create content and movies. Other than that, you get in your hole.
Emma gets let out of the basement.
Yeah.
They're just like, behave.
It puts the peroxide on its hair or else it gets the hole again.
It is hard to be Mother of Dragons blonde, you fucking bimbo. Whatever. I'm just the cream in your strawberry.
It's it's the gift that keeps on giving.
We're gonna have to edit that because that's disgusting.
No, it's beautiful. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in, for listening. We are very excited to have you with us. This was our first kind of offshoot of our monthly theme. So stay tuned for next week. We're going to start a new theme.
Until then, you can watch previous episodes on YouTube, as well as listening to the episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, just wherever you get your podcast content from. Follow us on socials. We have a TikTok and an Instagram, all at Pillow Fright Pod. And we also have a Patreon if you would like to support us so that we can keep upping our content game. As we've, it's a learning experience and we are trying to learn and grow with every single episode that we do. So if you want to join the Patreon and be a part of that, find us there. Link to all of this is in the bio for the episode.
And if you're watching us on YouTube, like, subscribe, click the bell, because we have more content coming your way.
Until then, let's get physical, motherfucker. Dun, 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 dun.
I don't know what the fuck we're doing. I'm just doing it.
Freeze frame.
Can we just do this so that whoever subscribes to Patreon just gets the awkward 30-second freeze frame?
I'm not good yet. You guys are all doing.
Are we done?
Cut. That's a wrap.